Many of us think we know what empathy and sympathy are. We often think of them as being the same thing, and we use them interchangeably without a second thought. But they are very different. We may think we are conveying one thing when in actuality, we're actually doing the other. By recognizing how these two often mixed up responses truly differ, doesn't just improve communication, it makes our relationships feel closer, warmer, and more human. Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to Evolve with Alana. And for those of you that are new here, hi, I'm Alana. So I know that you're in this video because you are already on a spiritual journey. No matter how you got into it, whether it was looking to better your life through financial means or you just wanted to feel better about yourself, you are in the midst of your journey. And by you clicking on this video, something connected. There's something in your journey that you're not quite sure of. And that's why I've made this channel, because this channel is all about the balance between powerful spiritual insights and practical principles and how they meld together into creating your most wonderful life. So, without any further ado, let's get back into the video. Today, we're talking about something that looks very similar on the surface, but underneath, it's completely different. Today, we're talking about sympathy and empathy. A lot of people mix these two up because they can sound alike. They both show up when someone is struggling. They both come from a place of caring, but the way they act, the way they feel, the motivation behind them, that's totally different. Let's break down what these two actually look like in real life. Let's start with sympathy. Sympathy is when you recognize that someone is going through something hard, but you stay emotionally separate from their feelings. Sympathy is more like, I see you're hurting, and I acknowledge that from over here. See, when you're sympathetic, you are often more detached. You're observing. You're more commenting on the situation from the outside. Not because you're cold or don't care. Actually, the motivation behind sympathy is usually to offer a quick comfort, to acknowledge pain without getting emotionally pulled in. It feels safer, easier, less vulnerable. That's why sympathy often sounds like, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your job. Or, that's too bad. Or, thoughts and prayers. These aren't harmful phrases, they're just distant. If sympathy had a job title, it would be of a sports commentator. You're far from the action, calling out what you see, but there's no need for you to step on the field. You're giving a surface level response without having to feel what the other person feels. Now, empathy. Empathy is when you step closer. You enter their emotional world. You're not fixing anything. You're not judging anything. You're just sharing feelings that they're going through. The action of empathy is more like, I'm here with you on this. I feel the weight with you. When you're empathetic, you're connecting emotionally. You're relating to their experience. You're tapping into your own memories or feelings to understand theirs. The motivation behind empathy is usually to support someone in a way that makes them feel understood, not just acknowledged. You want them to feel less alone and you're willing to be more emotionally present to make that happen. Empathy sounds like, I understand that you would feel disappointed by this. Or, from what you've said, it's clear why you would be angry about that. Or, the sadness you must feel isn't easy to put into words. Same situation as sympathy, but the energy is completely different. Sympathy says, I see your pain. Empathy says, I feel your pain with you. Now, here's the tricky part. From the outside, both can look like caring. You say something supportive, you acknowledge the situation. So it's easy to think that you're being empathetic when you're actually being sympathetic. But the real difference is the emotional proximity. Sympathy stays outside of the experience. Empathy steps inside the experience. And because humans aren't always comfortable with vulnerability, many of us default to sympathy because it's kind of safer. Empathy requires openness, presence, and sometimes even touching parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. Let's say your friend tells you they didn't get a promotion they were hoping for. If you were to react in sympathy, you would pat them on the shoulder, offer them a sad smile, and say, "Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry that happened." Here, you acknowledge the situation, but you don't enter their emotional world. Now, let's try the empathetic reaction. There, you would pause, take in what they shared, and say, that makes sense that you're disappointed. You put so much work into that. You want to talk about it? You're not just reacting. You're joining them emotionally. Same moment, two different actions, two completely different emotional impacts. Both sympathy and empathy come from caring. One cares at a distance, the other cares up close. Sympathy comforts the situation. Empathy comforts the person. Both sympathy and empathy have their place. But empathy is what builds trust. Empathy is what deepens relationships. Empathy is what helps people feel seen, heard, and understood. And that's something everyone needs. All right, that's it for today. Drop a comment and tell me, do you find yourself leaning more towards sympathy or empathy in tough situations? Now, if this video helped you, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. And share it with someone who's navigating their own emotional growth journey. And I'll see you in the next one.